Hello, welcome back, listeners. Welcome to the 101 episode, number 101 of Homeschooled Podcast. The first podcast I'm doing since we had our live recording. Just want to say thanks to everybody who came out to that and supported, made it an awesome show, an awesome day. It was really cool, and if you guys got to listen to that audio, I hope you enjoyed it. It was pretty awesome. Um, so this is episode 101. I don't have my co-host here with me. I'm here by myself, sitting in our garage slash studio, chilling, having some wine in my comfy guest chairs. I never get to sit in these chairs because the guests always sit here, and they're pretty comfortable and awesome. I like them a lot. Got these red leather chairs that look like they should be in a doctor's office. So these are my guest chairs. I'm sitting in it, having some wine, and just recording the intro for this podcast. Is episode number 101 with my guest Aaron Bowden. So this episode is about 40 minutes long. The actual conversation between Aaron and myself, and I recorded it while we were on the road. We did some road gigs. You guys heard me talking about it a little bit. Um, I was headlining two casinos, one Friday night, one Saturday night, and the one Friday night was in Winter Haven, California, which is just basically right on the border of like Mexico and Arizona. I was doing a casino there called the Q-Chan, and that's where we were staying. And then the following night, Saturday, we were performing at a casino called Paradise in Yuma, Arizona. But pretty much the whole area is like everybody from Yuma. So um, it was interesting. So first of all, the first night, and typically when you do gigs like this where they move you around from casino to casino each night or from venue to venue, you typically will stay in the hotel of wherever you're performing that night. And that's what I've done in the past with this particular comedy booker. So that's what I thought we were doing. So we check into the first casino and we check into our rooms. And then the next day, I'm rushing to check out by 11 a.m. That's what time checkout is. So I pack. I get up early. I have coffee. I have breakfast. I shower. I rush to pack everything. I pack everything in the car, and then to check out by 11. And I go to check out, and then they tell me, yeah, but the casino you're performing at tonight has no hotel, so you guys have to stay in this hotel tonight. This is where your comped room is again here tonight. So I like packed and everything for no reason. Packed everything in my car. I it was kind of crazy. So I had to like unpack. This is after I already stole towels and shampoo. That thing you do when you're in hotels. And then I had to just basically unpack and everything. But yeah, you'll hear in this interview with me and Aaron Bowden, which by the way, Aaron is a comic that I've known almost since I've started stand up. Maybe I've met him like 2 years after I started stand up, and we've been really close friends ever since. And whenever I get an opportunity to bring a comic to open, if he's available, I'd love to take Aaron because we're just buddies, and it's good to have him on the road. If I think it's suitable for him and it benefits both of us, I'll take him. He's a comic that's been doing it a lot longer than I have. He originally started in Florida, and we met when he moved out here to LA. So he's probably been doing comedy maybe 15 years. But anyway, so him and I went, and we recorded this podcast on Saturday afternoon after we found out that we do not have to leave that hotel. So I brought just one microphone, my Zoom recorder with me, and we sat in the hotel room, and we just you're gonna hear us. We talked a lot about the gig that we already did, which was Friday night, and then this is before the Saturday night show. The Saturday night show went really good, good turnout. We had some fun. People were happy. But that's pretty much it, guys. So that's what this podcast is about. I won't go into too much more detail. I'll just let you guys listen to it. So before I get into that, really quick, just do a couple of the sponsors here. This episode is brought to you by bullymake.com. Bullymake.com is a to-your-door delivery service. If you have a pet, if you have a dog, like a big dog like I do, I have a pit bull. This is mostly made for like bull breeds. If If your dog destroys their toys in like a couple of seconds, you want to go to bullymake.com. So Bullymake specializes in making toys that are not going to fall apart. They're not going to rip to shreds the second your dog gets a hold of them. They're going to last. They're durable, and it gets delivered right to your door. So imagine the concept of Blue Apron. Imagine the concept of all those companies that deliver like goods and goodies to you on a monthly subscription. It's the same thing for your dog. So bullymake.com. I just got mine in the mail today. Haven't opened it yet. Once I open it, I'll be able to tell you guys a little bit more about exactly what comes inside. But here's what comes inside. You're going to get organic, healthy dog treats that are healthy for your dog to take, and you're going to get a couple of toys that your dog is guaranteed to not rip to shreds. And you can either buy one box, or you can sign up for a 6-month subscription or a year. I personally would just do one box just to see how you like it. And then if you like it, go back and subscribe. And it's really cool to watch your dog get excited or your pet get excited when the delivery guy comes. And it's like, once a month your dog has like a little Christmas. They get all excited when the box comes. They get to investigate and see all the new toys and stuff inside, and it's pretty cool. I got one last month, and I just got my new one today, and I know my dog loved the one last month. He had like a big dinosaur come in there. He still chews on that. He had like this big sloth, and then we're still like almost done with the treats, and that was like almost a month, and they're still lasting, the treats. So yeah, you guys. So that's bullymake.com. And if you sign up for 6 months, it's each box is cheaper. And if you sign up for 12 months, of course, each box is even cheaper than that. But if you get just the one box, if you just want to try out just one box, I believe it's like $30. And then you're going to use my promo code, which is HOME, HOME, and you'll get $10 off your first order. So for $20, you can try out the box and get your dog some new toys and treats and see if you want to subscribe. Also, this episode is brought to you by DMC Watches, DeLorean Motor Company watches. I have this watch. I actually sought them out because I wear their watch. You guys might already know I'm a big fan of Back to the Future, and this is just like a really cool novelty item, and I love my watch. It's like actually kind of really important to me, and it's really beautiful. If anything, guys, you're just going to go to DMCWatches.com and just take a look at them so you can see what I'm talking about. It's made by DMC, DeLorean Motor Company, the company that makes the DeLorean. On the back, there's like a little embroidery in the stainless steel of the DeLorean with the door open, and it says like official product of DMC. It's really cool, you guys. So it's DMC watches, and they're not very expensive. They ship from London. The shipping is not expensive. It ends up coming out to I think $120. It's a beautiful watch. You're going to impress people, and you're going to help out my podcast at the same time. And there's no promo code, so for specifically to go to buy it from me to support my podcast, just follow the link that's going to be in the description. Okay, you guys. So without further ado, I know this is a long intro. I'm here by myself, kind of rambling on. Here's the episode of me and Aaron Bowden in our hotel room. On the road doing comedy gigs. I hope you enjoy it.
Just so you know it's recording. So I'll catch you off guard. He's talking about game management. Yeah, dude. So we're here in Winter Haven, California. Is that where we are?
Is that what it's called, Winter Haven?
Yeah. So.
Yeah, we're in California, right?
The dude I was just talking to at Walmart has no idea where he is. He works at Walmart, and I was talking to him, and I'm like, "Oh, there's no 10 cents a bag, right?" Because technically that's California.
Yeah.
And I'm like, "Where are we right now?" I'm like, "Are we in Arizona?" And he's like, "Yeah, I think so."
Yeah.
I'm like, "You don't know where you work, dude?" And he goes, "California's like 30 minutes away from here." I'm like, "No, it's not. We just came.
Yeah. It's across the street."
Yeah, it's across the street.
That was Yuma, Arizona,
where the show is tonight. So Aaron and I are staying in Winter Haven, California, at the is it the Quechan?
Quetzan.
The Quetzan Casino?
Quetzan. But it's spelled Queechan.
Yeah.
Quetzan. That's the Indian tribe.
Is that what it
Native
is?
American tribe is the Quetzan. They're known for their. It means those who descended.
What are you
well
reading?
Known for their distinct language, the Yuma, which is the native tongue of the southeastern California and southwestern Arizona.
Wow.
Only a few hundred people are now believed to still speak it.
So Yuma is a language?
Yuma is a.
It's a native tribe's
Native
language.
American language.
Wow.
They used to fight for fertile riverland. They used to fight the Apache, the Papago, Apache, and other tribes for control of the river's fertile floodplains.
So there's like a whole history lesson in this little book here?
Yeah.
And you read it?
Well, it's a half a page. I read about
Oh.
half of it because my attention span is like,
Yeah.
I know enough.
Well, I only heard of Yuma from like watching that movie 3:10 to Yuma, you know, the original and then the remake with Russell Crowe. It's a fucking awesome movie. And I guess so the whole plot of like 3:10 to Yuma is that, you know, Christian Bale is trying to get this outlaw who's played by Russell Crowe to the prison. Like get him to prison, but it's like hard to get him to prison because he's got his whole outfit, right? That's like trying to let him escape. And so they're trying to get him to the Yuma prison. And then did you see like there was some billboards on the way in just advertising like Yuma Prison Museum. So now you can go do the tour of the Yuma prison. So I guess it really was a prison in the Old West, right?
I think I saw the prison when we went into Yuma.
Yeah.
Now you see, I only know Yuma because when me and Warren Durso moved to LA like 12 plus years ago, we were on the road. We were on the road for four or 5 months coming here. And I'd never even been to Los Angeles. I'd been to San Francisco. So we were driving through Arizona. We finally were done with our road gigs. We had one little stretch, you know, to have money to move to LA. And we saw Yuma, Arizona. So from Yuma to LA for like 5 hours, me and Warren were just doing this. I was hauling a load of log out of Yuma, Arizona. We were like truckers. Oh hell, I was hauling a load of log out of Yuma, Arizona. We got pulled over by some state troopers. Everything was cool, except we had 2-3 pounds of heroin in the back. We just do that for like 5 hours. That's the only way I know Yuma.
So you've been to Yuma before?
Never been through. But you know, you see
just
the
passed
signs,
it on the way, so you guys
Yuma,
were fucking around.
Yeah.
It just feels like that out here. Like I can't believe that people live here.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
It is the desert.
When we drove to Walmart, it was, you know, we started to see like these little houses and stuff, and I'm like, oh shit, there actually is people that live here. Because where we're staying in Winter Haven, California, which is, like you said, across the street from Arizona. I mean, literally, it was like a 10-minute drive, if that, into Arizona, where we went to Walmart.
Yeah.
There's like no houses over here. It's all desert and this casino.
Yeah.
That's it. We're in the middle of nowhere. So Aaron and I did the show last night, and there was, I mean, it's just one of those shitty gigs where you just have to do the show whether or not there's people there, or you don't get paid, like one of those type of things. I kind of felt like a jukebox, you know? Like there's people at the bar and they're playing like their blackjack on the digital, you know, screen at the bar and having their drink, and they don't want to be fucking bothered by a comedy show. And I guess ideally, it's almost like you're working a cruise. Like ideally the casinos are like, let's hire comics and it's a free show, and that's incentive for guests to stay here, guests to come out of their room and play and drink.
Yep.
And spend money on food. And so it's a free comedy show, so they hire comics. And what do we get out of it? You know, we'll both make a couple $100. We'll fucking we get a hotel for the night. We get meal vouchers, and that's pretty much it. But don't you kind of feel like a jukebox? Like they're and the guy was cool as hell who was running the show last night. He was a really nice guy, and he's like, I was telling him after, he's like, bro, this is really sad, because he's like, every week I have to go through this with comics, and he's like, they all kind of like make fun, and they just go on stage and talk about like, oh, I guess I'll just talk to the chairs and the table. And he's like, I don't like they don't know what else to do. And then he goes, sometimes they'll try to go up to people who are sitting at the tables and try to talk to them, and they don't even speak English.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's kind of like an LA open mic in some sense, because there's people that, you know, they may or may not be paying attention.
Mm-hmm.
You kind of it's a good time to run through your act, but
Yeah.
you can't really just do nothing because you're a professional. You're getting paid.
Yeah. You can't
Whether
do nothing.
Whether you think it's, you agreed to do it, so you got to do it, and you got to at least do what you can do of your act.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe a couple people will jump on and start listening, like you had that lady last night.
Right. Thank God for her. Thank God for that lady who just was like, I like comedy. I'm going to, you know, turn my chair around and actually listen to these guys, as opposed to everybody else who is just playing their game. I feel like that, like, there are people that are actually listening to us do comedy, but they never even turned around. So this is like just to paint a picture for you guys, this is a huge room. It's got a decent sized stage, like enough to fit a full band. There's a space for a dance floor, so they could have moved chairs up, but they wanted the space for the dance floor for the band afterward, because I guess that's when it gets busy. And so there's like 10 feet before you actually get a table, which no one's even sitting at that. So it's probably another 50 to 100 feet where the bar is, where there's actually people. And you're basically performing to people that are standing 100 feet away. And by the time I went back up towards the end, there was that couple that was way back, and she kept yelling and cheering. Remember, I was like talking to her and stuff, and they would try to like talk during my set, which like at that point I don't really give a fuck if you want to talk during my set. Exactly. It's somebody to talk to, and I was just like, and I'm like, I honestly can't hear you guys. I wish I could converse with you. Come sit over here at the tables. We'll have a blast. But they were like, they're yeah, man, don't, like from 100 feet away from the stage, and that's who you're performing for. And like the guys are just playing poker or whatever on the digital screen at the bar, and they don't want to turn around. But it's almost like they want us to listen to comedy, so like there is a purpose for us being there. It is entertainment while you play your card game.
Well, it shows you. I mean, it shows you how people are. You know, they have that group dynamic where you don't want to be. You know, on a subconscious level, you don't want to be ostracized by the group. You don't want to not fit in. Because, yeah, there might be a few people that would be like, you know what, I'd love to go even listen to this. I'd love to go sit up front, but I'll be by myself. All these other people have their backs turned. Mm-hmm. I don't want to look like an idiot, even though, you know what I mean? It shows you, like, crowd psychology, you know? Because, but then if it's busy and people are going to sit up front, then other people will just walk right in and sit up front. And then everybody's having a good time. And the comic talks to the person, they do some crowd work, they're having fun, they're laughing, the other people. But then if you walk in and it's kind of sparse in certain shows, and the comic's doing badly, he'll go to talk to somebody to try to get out of the hall. You know how you just be eating a dick. So, hey, sir, where are you from? You try to gain some sort of conversation with somebody, but because you're doing bad and the other people don't like you, the person you're talking to now is just like, nope, not going to talk to you. I've had people like look down or shake their head. They won't even answer you. Where are you from, sir? And they just shake their head no, like not even going to talk to you. You can see how quickly people, you know, are in that groupthink mentality. You know, like it was that one lady who was there last night. She was laughing and clapping. She was like, you know what? I don't give a fuck. I'm going to sit here and laugh at these guys and have a good time. Mm-hmm. Very few people act like that. It's like the old, you know, they have these old videos of a experiment a guy did, a clinical psychologist, like back in the 60s, and he would set up cameras inside of elevators. So he would set certain people in there, and if you walk into the elevator and the people who usually are facing outwards as the door are opening, they're turned towards the wall, the people who walk into the elevator will turn and face the wall because everybody else is facing the wall. And then if you move the people, the new people coming in will behave like the people already in the elevator. And then if you have some people facing the wall and some people facing outwards, the people get confused and they take a second, they look around, and then they decide to pick one. So you can watch them. They're old videos. They're hilarious because people, I guess, on a deeper thing, we find safety in the commonalities of the group you're in.
Mm-hmm.
So you can tell. That's why people, they don't do that. Those dudes, it's like you're in a place, there's a comedy show going on, you're at the bar drinking, you could turn and look, and I'm not saying you have to come sit up front, but they just won't even do it. Like it's almost like they purposely won't look up.
Because they don't want to be dragged in.
Right, they don't want to be dragged in, or then he's going to talk to me, and then
they'll be stuck.
Yeah, and now I look like the asshole, but you know what?
What if it's not good, and then you can't leave?
Yeah.
Because now you're the asshole.
Yeah, like somebody who's playing penny slots, drinking Schlitz Ice, is now worried, like, well, I can't be associated with these guys because they're not very good comics.
Yeah.
But if Seinfeld was here, I'd hang out with him, and he'd hang out with me. Like, dude, you're an asshole either way.
And then last night, man, there was like these older guys that came in towards, I don't know, were during your set, were they there? Like all the way at the bar, those three older guys smoking cigars.
Yeah. No, I don't think so.
So like, yeah, they came in and they were like just trying to play. They were buddies and they were smoking their cigars. Their wives came like later, so you could tell it was like a group of couples that were there, and white guys, old guys smoking cigars, playing, and that's why I say like I felt like a jukebox, because like as much as you go like this is stupid. And believe me, guys, it is stupid. But you got it. It's like a part of the gigs. Like, you're going to do gigs like this. You want to be a road... I want to do gigs. Well, fucking this is it. Sometimes you get shit like this. And then... So, you got to do it. And I'm sitting there going through my material, and those guys don't want to look up. But then, like, during my set, like, I was talking about certain things, and almost like... I'm not like a quick joke guy.
Sure.
Like I can kind of get into like a bit, and those guys kept looking up. They're the last seats at the bar before you're not even in the room anymore.
Right.
They were almost out the door, and they're just sitting there playing, and they kept looking over, and like at one point they weren't even playing. They're just sitting there staring at me like, what happens next in the story, And that's where like I was happy with my decision, because I'm sure most comics that do this gig in this scenario, they just go like, I'm gonna fuck around and waste as much time as I possibly can. I'm gonna sit here and I'm gonna go like, so what's up, empty chairs, and talk to the wait staff and stuff like that. But I'm like, fuck that, dude. I'm running through my set. I'm just gonna run through my set, because like I said, like those guys are playing and they're not gonna look at you, but we're there for their entertainment, to listen as if we're like a CD that's playing in the radio. And as much as it feels terrible for us because no one's looking at you and you have to keep viewing the motions as if because you feel retarded. You're performing, and that's why I didn't want, because like you brought your girlfriend, I brought my wife on this trip, and we were like, yeah, we get hotels, so why not keep us company and come with us? But then I don't like when Jen, like my wife, sits with me while I do shit like that. If it's a packed audience, sure, she can come out, because I know I'm gonna have a great set, but like it's because I knew I didn't want to fuck around. I knew I wanted to run my set as if there were people watching me.
Well, you have to.
Yeah, and I wanted to just...
You're professional. Man.
And you feel so stupid doing that because no one's looking at you. And you got to just go through the motions. You got to perform as if there's a crowd of people. And I'm like, just putting my sweat into it and put my back into it. And then it pays off, because the people playing the game, that's what I got hired to do. It's to people playing games to be able to listen to comedy.
Yeah.
Not necessarily clapping and cheering and we're here for you. And so it sucks for us, but that was our job. That's what we got hired to do. So that's what I'm doing.
Yeah. No, agreed. You have to. I mean, that's people don't get. They see what they see as stand up is as what they see on TV, Netflix or Showtime or Dave Chappelle or Louis C.K. or whatever. And then over the years, they've gone to the comedy club here and there, maybe on a Saturday night, and it was a packed house and it was fun. And especially in LA, you got to, you never know who you could see. Oh, there's, one of the Wayans clan or something. So that's kind of what they see comedy as. So you tell them, oh, I'm going to Arizona, I'm doing a couple. They're like, oh, wow. Or they'll say stuff. So do they like fly you in? No, dude. They send a helicopter.
Yeah.
So they don't
it's
get
a private jet.
Yeah. And I never thought, even when I started doing comedy a long time ago, it doesn't occur to you that these things will be there. And for like younger comics just coming up, you see the glory, but you don't understand. You could go on the road and, you know, you could do a string of Native American casinos where they're tough, man. They're tough.
Yeah.
Some shows might be packed, but even then, you're right next to the casino slot area where there's no divider between the showroom. And the MC kind of throws you up, and maybe there's a headline or something. So, and your job is to go and kind of get the crowd involved. And if you do great, you do great. If not, you might eat a dick because they're.
Yeah.
And then when the guy comes out after you, or if you're the headliner, you know, people don't understand that. Young comics think it's all just I'll start.
I can't wait till I do gigs.
I'll freaking rock it out. I'm super funny, and then I'll be doing paid gigs and I'll headline improvs and funny bones and
I'll tell people I'm doing this, and like I'll go back, you know, to LA and start to see some comics that I normally see, and they're like, oh man, I saw you did that gig at the casino, man. Like, how come you don't bring me? I'm like, bro, you don't want to fucking go to this. And if you do, because you want to fucking be like, I got the chops, and you want to be a real comic and be a professional and make the money and sit through the shitty shows, fine, I that's cool too. But you gotta be good. Like, I'm not gonna take you just to take you. Like, you have to be, like, the one I'm doing next, these are cool because at least we can do whatever the fuck we want. Next week, I gotta do one squeaky clean.
Ugh.
You know what I mean? Like, I'm not gonna take you just to take you because you want to be a road comic and
sure.
Like, you gotta, like, you know what's gonna happen? I'm gonna take somebody and they're gonna realize how hard the room is. Not only that, but you have to do clean. And they go like, yeah, I got 30 minutes. Really? Well, 30 minutes in front of no one laughing turns into you got 5 or 10.
Yeah.
And then take out the jokes you can't do because they're considered dirty. So the next thing you know, the comic's going to fucking bail out of their set and they're going to run out of material and go, that's my time. And then I'm going to be responsible for doing an hour and a half.
Yep.
So fuck no. You know? So,
yeah, and the thing is, in order to become a comic, a comedian, you have to do them. And everybody who works and gets paid and who's famous, who's not famous, who's coming up, you are doing these, like it or not. I mean, on occasion, does somebody enter the comedy world and within a year, 2, 3 years, they're, you know, luckily got a television show or something, and they kind of surpassed this step. But even them, they've done a few of them, a handful, maybe even 50 or 100.
Yeah.
Because you have to. Because the only thing therefore as a comic is because it's just another time on stage of a learning lesson and another layer to your skin. So you get to the place where it's so thick and you've been through it so many times, you honestly don't give a fuck. Because if you can go on stage with 2 people, if you can go on stage with 200 people, in both instances, you don't give a fuck what they think on a more, on a more esoteric level. Like, yes, of course, you're always going to give a fuck. You need them to laugh, but you don't need this thing of their approval to make you feel your self-worth. You just are doing, this is what I do. I don't really give a fuck. If you like it, great. If you don't, oh fucking well. You have to do those. Uh-huh. And when you can treat both rooms the same, that's when you're a comic.
Yes. It really certainly tests your comedic timing, because it's easy to play off the crowd and have good timing as a comic. But try when there's no crowd and you still have to do your set as if there is one.
Sure.
That comes from like a memory of, I know when I normally get a laugh, and you have to do the same timing for the joke. How long did I end up doing after you got off?
You did a solid,
like 30, right?
35 minutes.
35, and then how long did I do before you?
I did
3 to 5.
7.
You think 7?
I mean, you did a solid 40. I mean, which is good. Which is If you have, I mean, I remember when I used to have 25 minutes was my set. I had a decent 25 minutes, and that I could work, the Southeast back when I started in 1999, early 2000s, 20, 25 minutes. But when there's no audience, you can burn 25 minutes. I've burned through it in 6 minutes. Where I'm looking down at my set list, and I'm at my last joke.
Yeah.
And 6 minutes has gone by. And they hate you. And the comic you're going up in front of is like, dude, you got to do your whole fucking 25 because last night you got off at 20. I can't do 55 minutes. And you're like, that's when you just start sweating. And then you go to talk to people, but you fucking suck, so they won't answer you. You just...
They don't answer.
Nope, can't talk to this guy. And then on purpose, as soon as the next guy goes up and he's got a strong opening joke, they're cheering and throwing confetti and throwing them kisses and roses because it's anybody but you. They're just doing it purposely to say, like, fuck this guy. We like this guy. He's the goods. Like,
man, last night, dude, that's what I was saying. Like, that guy who, like, works there, which probably, like, he's just the guy who, like, runs the shows. Like, he just turns on the lights and sets up the equipment is basically all he does. But he was cool. And he was telling me about, like I said, the comics that come through, they really just, like, talk to the chairs and they joke around about how dumb it is what they're doing. And, yeah, that's when I decided that I was just going to do a set. Like, I was just going to run through my set. But don't get me wrong. Like, if someone says something, I'll attack it. Like, I'll reference it. Anything to make the time go by quicker. Anything to, like, try, engage. Like that lady last night, and, you know, I asked her name. Now I can kind of, like, you know, you pick, like, two people that you feel like are in and out, like, kind of paying attention. And, you know, I got their name, and they were nice. And so now I can always, like, do my performance to them. But
yeah, no, that's a great piece of advice. You have to. I mean, you can't not acknowledge it. You can't go up and you can't, because you're not a robot, and people would think you were fucking retarded if you just went up and didn't mention that there is no
one
audience
in the room.
But you also don't want to do it too much. Mm-hmm. And then there's a certain instance of, like, comics will do that, and then
you're right. It has to be mentioned, but you cannot keep mentioning it.
Right. You know, you have to. You do a 4-minute bit, and you're expending energy, and then you get to the end of it, and it's exactly the same as when you started. A human being's going to acknowledge, oh, hey, well, thank you. I'm
getting to my closer, and you hit the big closer, and then you're normally you get like this, oh, my God. Like, and now you get, like, the same reaction as you were before, and it's just like, well, I'm going to get off with that. Yep. In my imagination, that was like a sold-out crowd, and that's where I got the big applause, and that's where I ended it.
Yeah, you did. You did get an applause break.
And at the end, at the end, I was like, tomorrow we're going to be, you know, at the 6 miles away, a different casino performing. And I'm like, if you guys want to come out, tell your friends if you liked me. I'm like, it's way funnier when there's people.
Yeah. And I was like, yeah, maybe tomorrow night. And then the guy's like, yeah, it'll be slow tomorrow night too. Well, thanks, dude.
Yeah. He goes, it'll be the same or less people. I'm like, could it possibly be less?
Not possible. But I'll tell you, I'll see the mistake that comics make. And when I say comics make this mistake, it's only because I've made it 8 million times. But you'll get to a show, bar shows in particular, in LA, outside of LA, it doesn't matter. And you'll be in a bigger place. You'll only have 8-10 people there. And 5 of them will be paying attention, half paying attention, and then a couple of them will be sitting at, say, the bar or a table facing the opposite direction. Then they won't turn around. But then the comic will go up, and instead of playing to the 5 people who are actually paying attention and winning some support or a fan or a Twitter follower or whatever the fuck, it bugs them. They got to get the guy who hasn't turned around once. They got to get that guy to turn around. So then they're going to come in and start berating him.
They get neurotic about
berating the show and the bar. And then the other people get pissed, and then finally...
And the guy won't turn around now that you're talking about him.
Finally, you say something, he finally turns around and tells you to fuck off or something, or wants to take you outside into the parking lot. I've seen that happen. So that's a pretty common mistake, because they need to get this guy. Like, dude, this guy doesn't fucking like you.
Yeah, just let it go.
He's never going to like you.
Whoever's listening is listening. Yeah. Just do it.
And even if you got fucking your own sitcom, Everybody Loves Raymond 2, and you were the star... He fucking purposely won't watch it because you were an asshole to him at the comedy bar in 15 years previous. So,
well, like, don't get me wrong, man. Like, you should try to, like, in a situation we were in last night. You really do have to try to get whoever you can and just take whatever you can get. But yeah, I hate when guys shit on people who are there and just talk about the people who aren't there their whole set.
Right.
Or like, oh, there's only fucking 5 people in here. Like last night, I would have given my right arm for 5 people to be sitting there in front of the stage listening to a show, and they go like, oh, bro, fucking. I just hate guys that go up and bitch about the people that aren't there, or the guys that aren't listening. Oh, look at this guy at the bar. He's too cool to turn around and listen to the rest of the show. Like, bro, don't punish the people who are here to listen to the show. But in a situation like last night, there was no one there listening to the show. They were just whoever was at the bar playing games, and we were trying to get their attention, entertain them.
I've seen Adam Hunter on numerous occasions fucking level the room that has with 5 comics going up in front of him, with 7 people in the audience, 2 of them not turning around, and I've seen him go up and do 45 minutes and 15 minutes into that set, everybody in there's turned around except for maybe the one guy, and they're cracking up for 40 minutes, and then thank you, good night, and he's and you're like, holy shit, he fucking wrote 2 new jokes and crushed.
He's got the set to do that. You know what I mean? His style is so like fast, quick jokes.
Course.
They hit you so hard. It's undeniably laughable. Sure. He can perform anywhere. He could walk out into the middle of the casino and start doing those bits, and before you know it, everyone's gonna stop playing their game and turn around and listen to him.
But that's his
gig.
It's so if he could just sit there and talk about how there's nobody there and do 10,
He would like do that maybe for a second, and then he'd just do his one-liners to whoever was listening, and boom, boom, boom. You have no choice but to recognize it. Turn around, go, this guy's funny, and fucking turn around. And it's just that set. Like, I wish I had that set. I have a set that's, like I said, longer bits, stories, themed, and so I had people turning around and listening, which I'll take that as satisfaction. But Adam will get them like.
Yeah.
Adam should lease his fucking whole set out to comics that do gigs like this. You know what I mean? He should like let people rent his fucking jokes.
It's always been tougher for guys like me and you, or other guys, Joey Diaz. They're longer. Mm-hmm. But I was taught early on, if you do that, if you're a storyteller or longer bits, try to get your opener. If you could do 1, 2, 3 in the first, open quick, set up punchline, tag, set up. That way they see, oh, this guy knows how to tell a joke. He's telling jokes.
Yes.
Rather, because if your first bit's 90 seconds away from a punchline, it's gonna be a fucking 30 minutes of you.
It's gonna be brutal.
Doing a run-on sentence.
That's why I opened up with yesterday those quick things that I open up with. Oh, I just got married. Oh, it's my second wedding though. Boom, 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 boom. Like trying to get those right away. And that's the closest thing I have to set up punches. I had to do that yesterday. So like the last time I've done gigs like this, I'll show up and there's like a local who always like runs their MCs their shows, and they're like, all right, nice to meet you. Here's what we're gonna do, guys. Here's how it goes down. We'll start at 7:30. You go up and do this. You go up and do this. There was nobody last night. And I didn't even tell you this. The guy, what's his name? Elias, who's the sound guy. He goes, bro, I didn't even know you guys were coming. That's how shitty the promotion was. He goes, I had no idea that you guys were performing tonight. I'm like, really? He goes, yeah. He goes, they didn't tell me anything. I'm the only guy here to run the shows. He goes, I knew about the band at 9:30, but I didn't know about you guys at 7. And he didn't even know what time the show started. I'm like, bro, there's a poster outside with my fucking picture on it, what time it starts on it. You didn't know about us coming tonight? And they don't know. Like they in their hotel rooms here, they should have like a little flyer with the program for downstairs. He had no fucking idea that we were even doing a comedy show. And I forget where I was going with this. What were we just talking about before? I said that? Anyway, but I mean, fucking... It's just it's crazy, dude. And I was talking about so there was no MC or anything like that. So I thought that there was gonna be a guy, because there's usually like a local, and then some guy who's not the bookers emailed me all the confirmation stuff and how to check in. I'm like, this must be the guy who we're meeting, and he's gonna MC the show or something, like Warren
Yeah.
When you go to Vegas, he'll MC all the shows. And we showed up and there's nobody here, and it's just that guy. He's like, I didn't even know you guys were coming, but I'll turn the lights on, I'll put the microphone on for you guys, and then do the show. And then he's like, I'm like, we're like, where's the MC? And he's like, there is no MC. It's just you two. So like, fuck.
That's what I told one of the waitresses. I said, I know there's a funny dude around the casino, or some kid who
kid who's got a couple of jokes. He's an aspiring
comic.
comic.
Makes everybody laughs. Maybe he's not even an aspiring comic, but he's 19 years old and he's always been the funny kid.
Yeah.
He's in there somewhere.
I would have thrown him up.
That's what you do.
I would have been like, bro, go up there and fucking tell the crowd, like, get him, like, you know. I mean, so I decided that as soon as they told me there's no MC, I knew right away. I'm like, all right, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go out there, I'm going to do 5. When I'm supposed to close, so I'm going to go up there, I'm going to do 5, and then I'm going to bring you on, and then I'll go back up and I'll do another, like, 35, you know. So, and that's what I did. Yeah, I would have fucking loved to have like some kid to go up there and warm it up. And then what did I think so the show's supposed to start at 7, and the guy's like, oh, so you guys want to go on at 8? And I'm like, it says the show starts at 7. And he's like, yeah, so I mean, he's like, okay, then if you do 7, you guys can be done by like 8:30. I'm like, you think me and him are gonna do an hour and a half in front of nobody? You think he's gonna do 30 and I'm gonna do an hour? I'm like, no fucking way, bro. So like we decided we're gonna start at 7:30. And then we'll end at 8:30 and just do an hour, and then the band, that gives them time to reset up for the band, and so I just I think at like 7:15 or right, I went up and I made an announcement to people, hey, we're gonna start a comedy show. If you guys want to move up closer, and fucking nobody moved. People left. When they're like, oh fuck, they're gonna start a comedy show. Let's get the fuck out of here.
Check, please.
There was a couple that were, like came in and they started to play and they were having a drink, and then when I went up on stage, the girlfriend like kind of turned around, was like listening, and then like by the time I brought you on, like before I brought you on, they were the guy, the boyfriend was like, let's get out of here, and like the chick looked like she kind of wanted to stay, you know. But yeah, people leave. They're like, oh fuck, I'm trying to sit here and have a drink, I'm trying to fucking play, you know, whatever the fuck, Texas Hold'em, and this guy's trying to tell jokes, and they just fucking left. That's why like I hate when I do bar shows, which like you do them a lot in LA too, you know. You do bar shows, and then there's always comics up there like, oh, you guys are fucking talking. I'm just up here trying to do jokes.
Yeah.
Like, no, dude, they're not interrupting your jokes. You're interrupting them having a drink and being at a bar, what you're supposed to do at a bar. So just go up there, fucking do your jokes. They either listen or they don't. That's what you signed up for, you know?
Yeah, that's the road.
That's the fucking road.
Yeah, I mean, you know, you're lucky if you get in early, and you know, some guys, they start just featuring for somebody, or they have a management company who, you know, like a Levity, and they put you in colleges, or you go featuring for somebody, so you're doing really good clubs, you know, every single week. But yeah, that's the road. I mean, the road when you start, I mean, it starts, you do open mics and bar shows, and then you get to do guest spots at the local comedy club, and then you start working at the club emceeing, and then featuring, and then you go out on the road as an MC. They don't really hire many MCs anymore. They used to. Some places used to bring in MCs, you know.
Yeah.
But then you'd go on the road featuring, and the club, if you're lucky, is the weekend. You know, if you're at a club, you get lucky, it's Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Usually Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Sometimes it's just Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Sometimes it's just Friday, Saturday. And then in between, you go Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday are a series of one-nighter bar shows or hotel lounge shows. And you drive 6-8 hours in between, show up, check in, do the show, get drunk, go to sleep, check out, drive to the next one. And sometimes they're amazing, sometimes they're not. I mean, I've done shows as being like Charleston, South Charleston, West Virginia. You pull in and you're like, man, this is gonna suck, because the night before in Kentucky and then the night before that was somewhere in Tennessee, those shows were kind of weak. But you get to Charleston, West Virginia for the weekend, and you're doing 300 people a night. You know, and the Friday night show, the local radio DJ comes out and hosts it and throws T-shirts and shit, and it's full, it's standing room only. They love it. It's their favorite thing to do, and you go, wow, that was awesome. And then Saturday night's busy, and then other nights, man, it's just
Oh man. And then we got one more tonight. And we'll fucking go home. And apparently tonight's gonna be worse than last night. Listen, man, I'm not complaining. We're gonna get a couple $100 each. And it's better than just sitting in LA doing free spots. I mean, is it? But no,
Sure.
we're making a little money. A couple $100.
But like I said, I mean, it makes it too when you go. When you go and you working with Joey and Steve Simone or doing your own good, headlining gig somewhere, and it's good. It's all the better. You're better for it.
Mm-hmm.
You do 40 minutes in front of nobody, and then get a good opening spot in a weekend club at an improv or something, and you got to do 24 up front, or 24 in the middle, and it's packed. And then you'll do 18 minutes of your material. You'll have jokes left over, and you'll have crushed. So it's always a trade.
Yeah, I've got. So we got this show tonight. I'll do next week. I got to do a Rampart Casino in Vegas. That'll be another one of these. And then the following month I'll be in Tempe, Arizona. Tempe Improv. That's what Joey does. That's gonna be fucking fire.
Fuck yeah.
Like
it's a party town.
Yeah. I need every now and then you got to do these. You get some money. It's part of being a comic. You're thrown to the ropes and you're tested.
Yeah.
And you can either come out fucking, saying you're never gonna do comedy again. Life ain't cut out for you, or you come out like a stronger comic.
Yep.
I thought to myself, I'm doing these. The last couple of weeks, I've done these van shows. I told you about them, where this person took one of those big Mercedes vans, Sprinter vans, and turned them into a comedy club. They got the red curtain, they got a little mic stand and stuff, and they park in areas where hoping there's gonna be people. Outside of bars and touristy areas, and we've been doing shows, and bro, I started getting we'll do a show for one person. It's a 30-minute comedy show. I'll go up there and do 15. The opener does 15, and I did it the day before we came here, and I'm like, well, if I can do that, I can do this. But the van shows are going better because at least it's someone there listening. It's 2 inches away from your face, as opposed to 100 feet away. They're playing games, and that's the test. If you get them to look up and look at you, you killed. That's what killing is in these rooms.
Yeah.
You're not gonna get applause breaks. You're not gonna murder the room. The goal is to get them to look away from playing their game and
maybe
drinking
one
their
of them
drink.
hit the royal flush while a comic's on stage. So forever they always, comedy's good luck. I hit a royal flush 15 years ago. So.
You never know. Maybe he'll fucking win a couple $100 and throw you a little
royal
cash.
flush on a max bet quarter machine. Walk out over $1,000.
All right, Tweets. Well, thanks for doing the podcast.
Yeah. Thanks for having me.
We're here, just fucking doing these road gigs. So just give these guys a little taste of
310 to Yuma.
310 to Yuma.
I'm your Huckleberry.
That's a different movie.
Oh yeah.
All right, you guys, that was the episode with me and Aaron Bowden. We were on the road. I hope that you guys liked it or you got something from it. When I say get something from it, I mean that this career can sometimes have its shitty... Actually, most of the time it has its shitty parts. But and then again, it has its perks. So just to give you guys like an honest reality, not to I think the whole idea of this episode, we were kind of really saying hey, this shit is tough, this is difficult, this is not always as glamorous as it may seem. Yeah, and that is all true, but just to let you guys know, the truth is, so that night we went to the gig on Saturday night, ended up being packed. Sure, it was one of those gigs. Sure, it was in a tiny casino that didn't have a hotel. It was just a small casino. People were there on Saturday night to gamble, spend money, smoke cigarettes indoors, drink cheap drinks, get drunk. And then there was a group of people that were there for the comedy show. And, they had my poster around. I started to, this is Saturday night after we recorded the podcast. I started to we walked in, we started seeing my posters everywhere, and then we got there and like a couple group of people showed up, and there's a band after us, and mind you, the Friday night there was also a band after us, and it seemed like that's what the people were there for, and they told us people more come for the bands than the comedy. So I started going up to the group of people that started to show up, and before any management got there or anything, I said like, hey, are you guys like here for the band? And they're like, no, we're here for comedy. And before you know it, more and more people came, and I ended up doing the same thing. There was no MC for this gig either, so I went up there cold open, did 5 minutes, really got the crowd warmed up. Then I brought up Aaron. This particular night, Aaron did like 25 to 30 minutes, I believe. Then I went back up and I did like another 45 minutes and closed the show. When we started the show, there was probably 35 to 40 people. By the time I went back up on stage to close it out, it ended up probably being, I think, like 65 people. And maybe that doesn't sound like a lot for you guys, but in these little gigs, it's a little tiny room off the side of the casino, like a lounge. It's got a stage. It's meant for bands. But, people were cool. Like I said, I cold opened for 5 minutes. I warmed them up. I got people to kind of come close. Everyone sat up close. You can see in the couple of pictures I posted on Twitter, there were people there to have a good time. But that's not to take away from the fact that we did do this gig, and we did record that podcast while we're on the road, and everything we were saying is true. Sometimes you do have to do shitty things like that, and it just makes you a stronger comic. I was extremely ecstatic that the following night there was people there to see a comedy show, and we had fun and we rocked it. But I was going into it fully knowing that it was probably going to be a repeat of the night before, and it was probably going to be another awkward experience that I just had to get through. We got lucky, and it was awesome. But I feel like it helps to have your anticipations realistic. I think I was doing a show. It was me and Lee Sayat and Steve Simone. We talked about it a couple episodes ago. We went and performed on the Queen Mary. The entire drive to Long Beach to perform on the Queen Mary, Steve and I were talking and telling Lee about all the experience of like just awkward gigs like that you have to do, like how it sounds great on paper. You're in a casino, you're going to be performing for the people that are staying in the hotel, and you're like, oh, this is going to be a great gig. Same thing with the Queen Mary. It sounded like that to us. So maybe Lee was excited about it, but like me and Steve were telling him this has like disaster written all over it. Like for us, it seemed like it was going to be another one of those gigs. And we just were, as Steve was saying, he's just preparing for the worst because we just know we're experienced. And Steve was right. Like, if you have a mindset of like, I bet you there's going to be like 2 people there, or I'm anticipating performing at a restaurant in front of a bunch of people that have no idea a comedy show was happening, and now you have to get the room on your side. Going into something with that mentality, not saying you should be negative all the time, but going into something with that mentality, it does help. So for when there ended up being 10 or 15 people instead of the 2 you anticipated, you feel a little better. And when you anticipated it being a restaurant where no one even knew comedy was there, now you're disturbing them, and you walk in and it's actually like, hey, there's some people here to see this show. So when you start your expectations low, you can get surprised. And that Queen Mary show that we did ended up being awesome. It ended up being people that were actually there. They're staying on the ship in the hotels, and they heard about the comedy show, and they came down, and it just ended up being packed. Most people were sitting there eating, and then when they announced the comedy show was starting, they all turned around and faced the stage, like as if that's what they were waiting for. So you never know. Sometimes you walk into these gems, like I did on Saturday night at this casino, and that was it. But I would never not do it. If I had to do it all over again, I would do it all over again, even including the awkward part of it and having to do those brutal shows. And I'll tell you what, if they threw me another one, I'd do it anyway. I am doing another one. This Thursday, I have to drive to Vegas. I'm performing at the Rampart Casino in Las Vegas. I don't know how that's going to be. It's another lounge inside of the casino. Hopefully there's people that come out to that. If you're in the Las Vegas area, I hope that you can come out and support. It'd be great to see some people out there. Yeah, and even if 5 of you from this podcast come out, that would be great, because there probably will be 5 people total in the audience. But anyway, that's where I'll be. And then get ready, Tempe, Arizona, at the Tempe Improv Cinco de Mayo weekend. So that's Thursday, Friday, Saturday. I believe that's the 3rd, 4th, and 5th. So Cinco de Mayo weekend, I will be with Uncle Joey performing at the Improv in Tempe. Let me do some shout outs here. Hang on, you guys. My shout outs for this episode for the week. I want to give a shout out to Daddy Rambo. You're gonna have to bear with me on this one, guys. This seems like random letters and maybe it makes a word. The Twitter handle is LQVWKXPJ. Whoever you are, you know who you are. That's for you. That's a shout out for you. Thank you. I want to give a shout out to B Long. I want to give a shout out to Gregory Nyman. I want to give a shout out to my girl Carmen 1157. I miss her. I haven't seen her in a while. But then I saw her recently on Twitter liking some of my pics and stuff. So thank you for the online support. Drake Nelson, my really good dude, Green Machine. Happy birthday, bro. It's a little belated, but I reminded myself on this episode to make sure I said something. I want to give a shout out to Lexus Sardui. I hope you're doing good over there, getting on stage. RJ Taylor, my dude RJ Taylor jumped up on stage recently. I hope everything's going well. Courtney Black, I want to give a shout out to Courtney Black. It was great working with you recently, and it was great to see you again. I haven't seen you in a long time. A really big shout out to my buddy Frank Yee, awesome dude, comic and supportive, friendly, just a solid dude. I just want to give you a shout out. I want to also give a shout out to Brother Frank, Aaron Treble, Justin Zawacki. My dude's always supportive online. At Check One, Tony Rodarte, or I hope that's not Rodart and I just made it all fancy for no reason. I want to give a shout out to Don, or on Twitter it's H2P05. Him and I touch base every now and then. Thanks for all the support and the help. I'm starting to put the podcast on YouTube now, guys. Also, I want to give a shout out to Phil White, Kelly Sully, Patricia Hayes, Viggy Bank, Jojo Manis, Josh Nelson, at Cali Rock Reggae, Malcolm McDonald, Alcala Rob, and Steven Orlowski. This is a list of shout outs of people who are supportive, who have been supportive on my social media, whether they're watching my live videos, liking my tweets, retweeting me, listening to the podcast, coming to shows. Thank you, everybody. And thank you, everyone who has listened to the podcast. This is episode 101. We're super excited about it. So like I said, people have been telling me that I should put it on YouTube. I never had a YouTube channel before, so I just created one. And a lot of people have been telling me like, hey, listen, you'll help your podcast out a lot by just adding it on YouTube. It's going to help you get listeners. So I added it on YouTube. I don't have video yet. So it's just basically like with the 100th episode, the live one, I posted pictures from the show, but the audio of the podcast is all there. So that's what I'm going to start doing. So my YouTube channel is just my name, Agostino Zoida, and I'm sure you can see how to spell that on your phone right now, or however you're listening to your podcast, you can see it. So that's my YouTube channel. So if you prefer YouTube and that's easier for you, you can listen to it there. Please subscribe. And anybody listening to this right now, even if that's not your primary place of listening to podcasts, if you could please do me a favor anyway and just go to YouTube, find my channel, Agostino Zoida, and hit subscribe. That would be great. And I'm going to tell you guys why I need that huge favor is because my YouTube link is like youtube.com/ a bunch of like letters and numbers. And that's like going to be really hard for me to promote my YouTube channel. It's easier for me to say like, hey, go to youtube.com/Agostino Zoida, but you can't create a custom URL on YouTube unless you have 100 subscribers. And I just started it, so it'd be great if you guys do me that favor. Go hit subscribe. And I hope that you enjoyed this episode. I'm excited to release more episodes. And don't forget the sponsor, bullymake.com. Use promo code HOME, HOME, to get $10 off your first order delivered right to your door for your pet, for your dog, toys, healthy treats, a fun box for your dog delivered right to your door, bullymake.com. And if you're interested in getting a new watch, or if you're a fan of the 80s or a fan of movie memorabilia like I am, or Back to the Future, get dmcwatches.com, DeLorean Motor Company watches. This is the actual company that makes a DeLorean. and it's my version of a Ferrari. I'm not going to go get a Ferrari watch because this means that much more to me. So if you guys are going to go, follow the link in the description so make sure that I get credit for referring you if you're thinking about getting a watch, or just go check it out. It's a really good looking watch. Anyway, you guys, thank you so much for listening to the Homeschool Podcast. I'll see you guys next time.